Hi there, yeah, Nick Dutch back on the camera, still on my private message series that I've been doing for a little while. Sorry I didn't do a video yesterday, very busy with my various things I get on with and so on and so forth. This one says I've got a few questions and requests if you're willing to oblige them. My first question is, have you seen the instructional documentary film on Solomon's Magic by Poke Runyon? Yes, I have. I thought it very interesting and enlightening. I also, they also mentioned the same dark mirror method which I use, so essentially, I've got a feeling of agreement with what he's talking about. Okay, the second request is I came across an interesting occult website called spellsandmagic.com, created by an occultist magician who calls himself Zuzu. Do you think he's a legitimate sorcerer or a deceiver? Well, I've had a very brief look at the website, and there's lots of hard truth claims there, and it appears to be selling traditional systems which are associated, or quasi traditional systems associated with more to do with witchcraft or Wiccan based stuff. Um, some of the claims made on the website, especially on how spirits work if you're using the Ouija board, grate against me seriously because they disagree with the way in which I look at the subject. Obviously, everyone looks at the subject in a very different way. I look at things from a transcendental deist perspective. Other people look at it from a, oh, magic really works, yes, yes, it's got to be done in the terms of the system, yes, yes. And I think that some stupid people are going to study that website, assume it is the genuine, legitimate system, and end up in a state of fear and panic and superstition as a result of it. And other people will try and use information from that website as a means to control other people and put them into a state of fear, superstition, and paranoia, taking into account that people get involved with occultism often to satisfy various personal needs. I got involved with occultism not only because I had the strange experiences that I was curious about, but also because of my chronic fatigue syndrome. And of course, people in occult circles say, oh, it works, and all the rest of that bollocks. And hey presto, the only thing that cured me, or in fact improved my health, didn't actually cure me, but improved my health, was regular modern science. And it wasn't some person who says, oh, it works, because they're usually a bunch of psychotic wankers who just get a real sadistic kick out of fucking with people. And I violently and aggressively hate that kind of person, personally speaking, because essentially it's an abuse of the position that they are given when they develop a religious or magical religious title or whatever. And if someone wants to try and abuse that kind of position, which they have given themselves or society has given them because they've got all the various tools and toys, uh, they're scum. They're just fucking scum. Okay. Uh, so I think that this Pazuzu person might believe stuff, but there's no such thing as legitimate. It's just a question of whether someone believes their stuff or doesn't believe their stuff, really, in the real world. Okay, so he probably possibly legitimately does believe that stuff, but I think that that website spellsandmagic.com should be looked at and read in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way. All right, as if you were, watching a really bad film and not taking it too seriously. Or you can look at that as being an example of the way in which ideas about occultism have progressed forward. Okay, but in some respects, I think it's quite backward. As I said, there's a bit on there on that website about Ouija boards and says, well, if the spirit hangs around you, it might try and influence you or try and influence the way in which you think. And I think that that's generating superstitious fear and dread inside someone who's essentially just using an idiomotor device. And therefore, I think that that is detrimental to the intelligence, reason, wisdom, and mental health of the people that Pazuzu is talking to. Okay? Okay, my last and final question is, have you ever read a comic book series Hellblazer? No, I haven't. I'm also a big comic book fan, but Hellblazer is an exception. It's an amazing work of fiction set in a contemporary world where the supernatural world is behind the scenes. Uh, no, I haven't, and I'm not much into the graphic novel thing. I'm not much into fiction, funnily enough. I prefer to watch my fiction and do so without really caring too much about it, really. But yeah, I mean, if I'm reading something, it has to be factual. It has to be something I'm actually genuinely interested in. I'm trying to get something out of because I'm looking into that particular set of ideas to the most part. So works of fiction, I don't really get, you know, unless it's on the screen and I can choose to dismiss it and carry on with whatever it is I'm doing with, you know, with my hands, carrying on with my knitting. Yeah, it's like a little witch, yeah, or whatever. So, you know, chill out, relax, don't lose your ability to reason. And if you do have a look at the website, spellsofmagic.com, plant your tongue firmly in your cheek, okay? Because that's essentially the best way forward.